NATO's Secretary General says that he's standing behind President Trump's assessment that the Ukrainians can win back all their territory that they've lost to Russia.
The president took a harder stance on Moscow during his visit to the UN, calling Russia a, quote, paper tiger, and vowing to increase aid to Ukrainians. Yesterday, Trump doubled down on those comments.
I'm very disappointed in Putin, and he's been fighting hard, he's been fighting long, and they lost millions, they lost like 1 million soldiers. They've gained almost no land.
Allies also rallied behind the president's suggestion that Russian drones and planes violating NATO airspace should be shot down. Some are calling for a defense shield using advanced drone technology.
Joining us now to talk about the status of the war in Ukraine, political science professor at UNC Chapel Hill, Milena Vakudova. Start here with the president's stance on Ukraine. Are you surprised at all that he has kind of shifted his stance, being more favorable to Ukraine? President Zelensky was a little bit shocked by the president's change in heart.
I think it makes sense because I think that President Trump wants to see an end to this war. And this is not what Putin wants. And Putin has not met him along this kind of process of trying to bring the parties to the table. He has not agreed to a ceasefire while negotiations take place. He has not even agreed to anything that looks like serious negotiations. So he's not a trusted partner. Whereas the Ukrainians have shown President Trump that they are fighting, that they're fighting hard, that they're really innovative. And that they can hopefully bring Russia to the negotiating table.
And Milana, it wasn't too long ago that the president rolled out the red carpet in Alaska, a summit with Putin, who was there. And so it makes this change in what the president is saying, it makes it seem a little surprising. What is it about? It's not just trust, though, because, I mean, Trump said to President Zelensky, this was months ago, you don't have the cards to beat Russia. Now he's saying, wait, you can claim all this land back. So strategically, other than trust, what are the cards that might be changing hands that would even allow Ukraine to take their land back?
That's a great question, Jason. And I think the Ukrainians have demonstrated to President Trump that they have cards. Ukraine is not winning this war, but it's also not losing this war. And that is remarkable given the scale of Russia and also the all-out devotion to, crushing and extinguishing Ukraine that Putin has essentially shown. And I think it's a number of things, but for example, Ukrainian attacks on oil refineries. We have gas shortages across Russia today, but that's not the point of those attacks on oil refineries. It's not to prevent, ordinary Russians from being able to fill up their gas tank. It's to slow down the Russian military machine. We've also seen very successful attacks on weapons manufacturing, on chemical plants that are essential ingredients to weapons manufacturing, and also on Russia's air defense, allowing these attacks to be successful. Now, on the Ukrainian side, they do not have enough air defense. Ukrainian civilians are dying every day. President Zelensky is saying, look, it's remarkable what we've achieved. With more help, we can make this hurt for Russia, and only that kind of real intense pain, which is beyond anything, right, that we would think was reasonable. The number of Russian soldiers that are dying every day is really, it's just terrible. But if we can make Russia hurt even more, maybe we can bring them to this negotiating table.
The president also asking other countries to stop buying Russian oil. Do you still think that there is room for the president to act as a mediator between the two countries, even though Vladimir Putin hasn't really been participating? Is this support of Ukraine maybe going to bring him back to the table?
I hope so. I hope so because I think it's in the interest of the Russian people, if not the Kremlin itself, to see a negotiated end to this war. Yes, President Trump can certainly do more to pressure, for example, Slovakia and Hungary to stop buying Russian oil, other allies and commercial partners to stop buying from Russia, also to stop supplying. Every time a drone or a missile falls in Ukraine, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of components in there that are made in the West or that are made in China. So we know that there's a lot more that could be done in terms of denying the materials for Russia's war machine.
Again, Milada Vakudova weighing in on that. Milada, we thank you for taking the time. Hopefully some negotiations can pick back up. We'll see what happens between Russia and Ukraine. Milada, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.